From Fox 8 Sports, this is the Black and Gold Review Show, sponsored by your Southern Quality Ford dealers, home of the best-selling truck 41 years straight, and the 2018 Nissan Titan, backed by America's best limited truck warranty.
Brees takes the snap, drops back, looks to his right, lofts one down the sideline. Alvin Kamara caught it to 10, into the end zone. Alvin Kamara, 38 yards, and the Saints continue to dance in the Superdome.
Let me get this straight. You're up 38-7, and you dial up a 38-yard touchdown throw on 4th down? That is who the Saints are right now. And we are. Juan, Deuce, and Sean, the Black and Gold Review Show. Welcome in with us once again. These Saints are stomping on the gas, and they got no problem doing it to whoever is in their way right now.
If you line up and you bust coverage and you play it the wrong way, they will exploit it. And to be honest, Juan, they were really just trying to get the first down. You know, they were not trying to score there. They were really just trying to get the first down, and coverage dictated them to go up top, and they connected.
Instead, I'll throw a 9 route, get a nice touchdown pass.
Yeah, why not?
Touchdown catch by Alvin Kamara. But I actually agree with you on that one. But look, 9-1, having more fun than anybody else in the NFL. The Saints are living their best life right now. And you know what? Good for them. They deserve it.
Absolutely. Let's get you right into the playbook. A lot to talk about tonight. Play number 1, Peyton's pedal to the metal. Team is averaging nearly 38 points per game, but over the last 3, almost getting 50 per game. It shows you they are in sync with each other.
They're really executing at a high level, and I think a lot of it starts on first down. When you can win on first down, you're getting +4, +5, +6 on first down. Sean Payton has an array of plays that he can call and design, and you know, right now they're executing everything. I mean, whether it's a traditional play or a trick play or, you know, a funky-looking formation, it's all working.
You just never feel like the opposing defense is going to stop them at any point. And I hate to have that, you know, case of recency syndrome or whatever, but I think this is even better than 2011 right now. Last night, 546 total yards to 196 for Philly, 69 plays to 48, 37.5 time of possession to 22.5 time of possession. So they're just, everything they do, the level of execution is so precise and flawless. I mean, you just don't feel like they can ever get stopped.
The 41-point defeat, the largest margin of victory over a Super Bowl champion, reigning champion ever. That kind of tells you where this team is right now, where they feel like they have something to prove right now still.
Well, I think that they want to go out and prove. I mean, because right now, I don't know if enough people outside of New Orleans are saying that this is the best team in the NFL, and each week they have to go out and show it and prove it.
Maybe because they're in a smaller market? Is that
it could be it. Or look, the Chiefs are playing well, the Rams are playing well, but I think when it's all said and done, the Saints are going to get their due.
Get you the playbook once again. Play number 2, Brees' buffet. 22 completions to 7 different receivers. They've always believed in spreading the ball around in this offense. You know that, Sean. That's what they've always believed in. Any guy on any given night can step up and do it, and last night, that's what happened.
Brees is balling. I mean, again, you would think at this point of his career we would expect some level of drop-off, and it hasn't happened. The exact opposite has happened. He's playing better than he's ever played. There was about 9 or 10, next-level throws where he fit the ball into about a half-yard window. I can think of about 9 off the top of my head. The Thomas, the Traquan Smith touchdown. It was unbelievable. Brees is playing better than he's played his entire career, which is obviously saying something. And the Saints right now, they're out-planning teams, they're out-maneuvering teams, they're out-executing teams. They feel like they're 3 steps ahead of any defense they face.
They are making subtle adjustments to be able to fit to what they want to do, and then taking advantage of whether it's an aggressive defense, whether it's a defense that wants to sit in zone. They're able to take away, okay, you want to take away Michael Thomas, you want to double Alvin Kamara, then here's Traquan Smith, a young man that for a couple games didn't even get a target. And then he gets 13 targets, he catches 10 passes, and then you get Keith Kirkwood, who is just, he's expanding his role and his opportunity. They're just taking advantage of the opportunities that's available.
I'm going to ask you something I asked Deuce during the 2-minute drill earlier today. At this point in his career, is Drew Brees a better quarterback overall now than he was back in 2009 when he won the Super Bowl?
From an execution standpoint, I would say, ooh, that's a great question.
Made him pause twice.
Yeah, he's thinking hard, too.
Yes, he's playing better. He's playing better right now than he played in 2009.
I think he's a better quarterback because he's a more experienced guy. He's seen everything tenfold now compared to back in 09. He was still pretty experienced then, but we're talking 8 years ago, 9 years ago?
He's balling right now.
All right, let's get you to play number 3. Hold that line. Listen, we've talked about the injuries. Toronto Armstead didn't play in that game. They've had to reshuffle things a little bit. Jerron Bushrod steps in, but it's no big deal because the offensive line is so well connected right now and protecting him so well back there. They're not missing a beat.
You look at some of the designs of the play call by Sean to be able to give presence, to be able to give help, and a lot of that is, look, I'm not going to let an experienced pass rusher take over this game and just beat me by getting off, and whether he's jumping the snap count, whether he's in a wide 9, they're able to diffuse a lot of the things that teams are doing, and you see Bushrod step in, and he played outstanding. Really, and look, he played 50-plus plays last week against the Bengals. He steps right in, and he takes over Teron. You know, maybe you think, well, they won't run this play or this style of play. I thought the playbook was still wide open for them, you know, as far as things that they were doing, and it was just impressive to see.
You know, we talk about the flawless execution, the play calling, the planning. Absolutely none of that is possible. Absolutely none of that is operating at such efficiency if not for this offensive line. I'm confident in saying this is the best O-line of the Sean Payton era, and the blocking as a whole, from the line to the tight ends to the receivers, is as good as I could ever remember. And remember, the D-lines they face: Baltimore, Minnesota, Rams, Cincinnati, Philadelphia. All pretty good defensive lines, and they've been able to hold their own and dominate at times. Not hold their own, they've been able to dominate pretty much every D-line they faced. When was the last time it really felt like Brees was under pressure?
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel that. It doesn't feel like he's under pressure much.
There was 1 or 2 hits Baltimore got against him. But outside of that, you know, and that was because of the looks, the multiple looks that they give you. But outside of that, he's been clean.
Saints offensive lines allowed 9 sacks this year. That is the least number of sacks in the NFL. That tells you how well they played. Play number 4, Nest Invaders. That defensive front, 3 sacks, calls 3 picks. They're playing better as we go forward in the season.
If you can get pressure like they have been able to get and to be able to stop the run, I think that's the most important thing, making teams one-dimensional. So there were the Eagles hit them for a couple runs. I'll admit that. But when that score got out of hand, 17-7, you know, the Eagles knew that they had to pass the football. That's one-on-one situations. You see Dennis Allen starting to dial up some pressures. You see him send Marcus Williams once or twice. He's able to send Anzalone up the middle. I mean, Anzalone is responsible for the center, Kelsey, getting hurt. I mean, because of how he extended his arm, and they were able to come up with the sacks. But you've got a lot of players that are contributing up front, and it's impressive to see them be able to do so.
Dennis Allen's not getting enough credit. I mean, I went back and watched the defensive snaps through 3 quarters. Every single blitz that he called through those first 3 quarters, which is when the game was somewhat competitive, worked every single time. And it wasn't just, hey, we're sending a back, or hey, we're sending a guy off the edge. It was, sometimes it was safety. Sometimes it was all 3 linebackers. Sometimes they sent Marcus Williams down. I can't remember the last time Marcus Williams blitzed on a play. And that front 4, to me, got in Carson Wentz's head early because he looked rattled the entire game. He never looked comfortable.
Play number 5, secondary surplus, guys making plays. Banjo. Ooh. Banjo.
Chris Banjo was able to step up, make some plays. You know, they started pulling some starters out. Carson Wentz is still in the game, and Banjo is just playing his deep third. He's playing the deep ball, does an outstanding job of high-pointing it and going up and getting it. And, you know, it's just really impressive to see. On that one, Marshawn, it was really a trade-off between he and Marcus Williams. He plays the center third. He's a center fielder. I mean, he ran for about 5 yards with his hands up in the air to be able to catch that ball. It was perfect.
That was a great coverage call, too, because if you're Carson Wentz, you're reading the single high safety there, and it's Marcus Williams jumping that dig route, and the post goes over the top there, and Marcus Lattimore from the opposite side of the field basically beats him to the ball. It was a little underthrown, but still. And Eli Apple, we haven't talked enough about him because his emergence as a consistent guy opposite Lattimore is allowing D.A. to do some of the creative things he's doing up front with the linebackers and the defensive line. And also this, everything is feeding off the offensive efficiency because this defense knows they got to get 1 or 2 or 3 key stops.
That's all they got to do.
And by the second quarter, like for instance yesterday, it was 17-0 before the Eagles blinked an eye. That was by the time they got their footing a little bit, it was 17-0.
Nobody's having more fun than that secondary.
No,
Up next, Sean Payton's masterful play calling started on the offense's first play of the game. See the film breakdown coming up next. And we have been flooded with viewer questions, and one topic came up consistently. Wait, what? Are we seeing too much Taysom? Oh, I can't wait to talk about this next.
You're watching the Black and Gold Review Show, sponsored by your Southern Quality Ford dealers and the 2018 Nissan Titan.
All right, welcome back in. Time now for a tape breakdown, and believe it or not, Sean did not have to look too far to find this week's subject.
I did not. You know, actually, I read Peter King's column this morning. Sean Payton had given him access to the Saturday before a game. It was absolutely terrific insight. And one of the things that stood out was how quickly what Payton planned for turned up. And by quick, I mean the very first offensive play of the game. Check it out. It's this week's film study. The Saints are in their pony package of Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara, one wide receiver and Michael Thomas, tight end Josh Hill, and hybrid Taysom Hill lined up in the slot. The Eagles respond with a nickel grouping of 4 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs. They counter the Saints' alignment with 9 players in the box. Now, pre-snap, Alvin Kamara comes in motion from right to left. This is an important part of the play because DB Avonte Maddox runs with him, which leaves one less person on that side of the field. To make this play go, Ryan Ramczyk, Josh Hill, and Taysom Hill each have to make key blocks. Not to the player directly across from them, but down on an angle to the player lined up next to them. Ramczyk on Haloti Naha, Josh Hill on 55 Brandon Graham, and Taysom Hill on Malcolm Jenkins. Essentially, what the Saints wanted was the unblocked defender to be number 22, Sidney Jones, who was battling a hamstring injury. The play was executed to perfection. On the snap, Ramczyk clears Nada, Josh Hill seals Graham, and Taysom Hill moves Jenkins about 4 yards downfield. Now look at it from the backside angle. After those 3 execute their blocks, what does Ingram have? One-on-one with Jones. Exactly what the Saints wanted. Ingram easily breaks his tackle and scampers 38 yards. Now, if you read the piece, you know Payton referenced the Eagles 22 a lot, which tells me, 1, how much teams use a player's injury status in game planning, and 2, just how complex their offense truly is. I mean, the amount of information and execution and just precision you have to operate this offense was truly something.
It's timing, it's spacing, it's everyone understanding what they have to do and knowing when they have to do it, because it doesn't take much for it to be wrong.
Now we know why Sean Payton's always very mum on the injuries throughout the week. All right, get you to some questions because these are submitted using the Final Play app's Final Word feature. And this first question comes in from multiple viewers asking this question. Bill from Cornelius, Chuck, Glenn, and Michael all want to know, is there such a thing as too much Taysom?
That could be a thing as far as too much Taysom, but I mean, you've had so much success. I don't think that you get away from the package. You know, with him maybe not having the plus 10, plus 15 runs, hey, look, I understand that, but you've done so well with those runs, and even trying to get him the ball there vertically, that's another spacing deal that they have to be able to correct. But I think right now, when you can use him at quarterback, tailback, he lines up at tight end, he lines up at split end, continue to use him.
He only played 13 plays. It feels like a lot more because he's so involved when he's in, but he only played in 13 of the 68 plays, so it really isn't that much. Now, let me say this. I think teams are catching up to the zone read a little bit because it's not as effective as it once was earlier in the season. But when he's on the field and he's not a quarterback and he's a blocker, he's a very effective blocker, as we saw in the film study. So too much Taysom. I thought the pass, the overthrow to Tre'Quan Smith, if he makes that pass and he connects right there, his day maybe looks a little bit better. But too much Taysom, he didn't play all that much yesterday.
Well, we talked about that in the office before the show, is that, you know, that was the one play I did not like because I felt like this offense was moving extremely well. The Eagles had just scored a touchdown, and so they're trying to get some momentum back in the game, and all of a sudden, on a first down call, you do that play. I'm all for him being involved in the offense, but I think when Brees is clicking like he is in the offenses, I don't want them taking the ball out of Brees' hand to throw a simple pass over the middle.
Well, it was just a moment that they used that particular pass play. I think just because, like you referenced, they had just scored, so you don't want the momentum to be able to turn and get them back into this game. If the Saints had maybe ran it on second down after picking up 6 or 7 yards, then you're okay with it. But it's just when they call that particular pass.
All right, coming up, more viewer questions, including why aren't we seeing more of Teddy Bridgewater in the fourth quarter? And the Thanksgiving night feast against the Falcons is now less than 72 hours away. We've got your first preview coming up.
Watching the Black and Gold Review Show, sponsored by your Southern Quality Ford dealers and the 2018 Nissan Titan.
All right, welcome back in. We want to get you right back to the questions. We have one from Lauren from Metairie. She wants to know, if Drew Brees was to break the TD pass record held by Peyton Manning, would he have to do it in the regular 16-game season, or does the postseason count? And do you think he'll break it this year or next year?
He needs like, what, 20?
26. By my count, 26.
Yeah, postseason does not count.
Postseason doesn't count.
Yeah, so it would have to be in the regular season. Let's just continue on the path that we're on. I don't think that breaking that touchdown record is too important. The yardage record was really important, and it would be something that would have to happen next year.
I bet he breaks that in half by the end of the season, has at least 13 more touchdowns over the next six games.
I would agree there.
That's not insurmountable, but 26, even for his year right now, would be a little bit of a stretch. That would be something like 5 touchdown, 4 touchdown passes a game for the next 6 games. We'll see.
I'm hearing 4.3 in my ear.
Oh, he's got it.
Let's get you right to the next question. And this is a pretty good one. Why doesn't Sean Payton allow Teddy Bridgewater to come in and show what he's got? Let's make the kid feel comfortable if we want him to come back. I think that's from Chico Bailey here in New Orleans. I think that's a good question. I was wondering why Drew Brees was in the game for so long when you're already up by 31 points.
I think it was maybe one series more that Drew stayed into the game, but I don't think that when Teddy comes into the game, there's nothing that he is going to show you what he's got as far as for him to sign back. I think they have a pretty good understanding what Teddy gives them throughout the week, through practice. When he comes in, yes, they want to see he has control of the offense, but it's going to be to hand the ball off because they're running clock.
When we're debating the backup quarterback getting in, how much playing time he gets, you know the Saints are rolling right now. So, but I agree. I thought he kept him in one drive too long, especially since he took a big hit in the third into the fourth quarter. So I would have pulled him around the 11-minute mark of the fourth quarter. I think it was the 5-minute mark he got in. So, look, that's life being Drew Brees' backup. He wants to play. He wants all the reps. That's just how it is, and it's working. So
it's working. Can't complain when it's working.
Right.
Our next question comes from Joshua Gus in Chile Gentilly. He says, do you think Marcus Davenport will be back soon?
Yes, I expect Marcus Davenport to probably be a game time this Thursday as far as him being able to go. If he can give them 20 to 30 plays this week, they'll go. But if he doesn't go this Thursday against the Falcons, then for sure, unless, and I'm going to knock on some wood, unless there's a setback, he'll go against the Dallas Cowboys.
He was officially listed as limited today. That's an upgrade from where he's been since he suffered the injury, and that's a projection. Had they had practice today, he would have been limited. That's kind of how they view a Thursday night game. So he's clearly improving. If he doesn't play this week, I bet he plays next week in Dallas.
I would imagine they would like him to play this week, if for anything, to give these guys who are coming off a game on Sunday a bit of a break with their legs a little bit, an extra body.
I would agree there because he's going to be one of the freshest guys, but you're probably talking only available about 20 to high side 30 plays.
All right, coming up, the Saints have already turned the page to the Falcons, so we're going to do the same. We've got your first preview coming up next. And be sure to tune in tomorrow night for Fox 8 Overtime, when we'll have much more Saints talk, as well as look at all the big stories in Southeast Louisiana sports this week. We'll answer your viewer questions as well, so keep sending them on to us. Final Play app, Final Word feature, and be sure to watch Fox 8 Overtime every Tuesday night at 10:35.
Review sponsored by your Southern Quality Ford dealer, the best-selling truck 41 years straight. You're watching the Black and Gold Review Show, sponsored by your Southern Quality Ford dealers and the 2018 Nissan Titan.
In the I formation, he's going over the top, and that's going to be it. Touchdown. That one's over, and the New Orleans Saints defeat the Atlanta Falcons here in Atlanta.
So time for round number 2. Thanksgiving Day Falcon instead of turkey probably tastes like chicken. I'm guessing.
Probably does.
I'm guessing. Last time the Saints won a shootout in the ATL, 43-37. Last week the Falcons lost to the Cowboys. Sean, going back to this first meeting, not much has changed with the Falcons, really.
A lot has changed with the Saints still. Yeah. I looked at the box score today. Jonathan Williams, Mike Gillislee, Ted Ginn Jr., Jay Bromley, and Cam Meredith all had significant stats in that game. It's amazing how much a roster can change over the course of a season. That game feels like forever ago. And then, look, the Saints ended up on the right side of that one, but that was not an easy contest.
It was not an easy contest. You know, I think that was also an opportunity for the Saints to kind of right the defense in a way. Ridley had over 3 touchdowns. I remember Marshawn going and shadowing him late. So a lot of mix-up confusion. The Saints, you know you're playing an explosive offense. You cannot give up those explosive plays, but you get Mark Ingram back. He didn't play. He was not involved in that first game. He changes this offense a little.
They get Debo, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
They get Deion Jones back, the former Jesuit Blue Jay. Last week, on Sunday, the Falcons lose to the Cowboys in late heroics, late drama there. To me, this Falcons team hasn't really changed much since that Week 3 matchup in terms of personnel and how they play the game. They're still a struggling football team, even though Julio's playing better.
Julio is playing better. He's able to get in the end zone, but I think it starts up front with them. You have to be able to disrupt Matt Ryan, and if you can do it with your front four, and I think the Saints are very capable of doing so, then that's going to allow him or make him get rid of the football earlier and quicker, so you like the matchup.
They are capable of explosive plays, but so are the Eagles. So we'll see how that matchup goes.
This could be the game that knocks the Falcons out of playoff hopes. They're 4-6 right now.
They have to win out.
Another Saints win. Maybe this is the one that does them in. So we shall see. Again, Thursday night inside the Superdome, a fantastic rivalry. Saints trying to get past the Falcons and make it 10 wins in a row. We've got the regular football on Fox 8 schedule the next 2 nights with overtime Tuesday, game plan on Wednesday, both featuring plenty of Saints talk before the Falcons trip to town. Thursday at 3 o'clock, we've got afternoon football as Washington looks to replace Alex Smith, their quarterback, against the suddenly resurgent Cowboys. Come Friday, a special schedule as the Black and Gold Review show looks back on the Saints and Falcons. And that will air after Fox 8 Football Friday, which airs after the Apple Cup. That'll be a good one as well. Washington State taking on the Washington Huskies. What do you think this game on Thursday night? What are we thinking here? Saints pull out?
Go ahead and put Atlanta to sleep.
Yeah.
They're ready to go.
Go 10 in a row.
What's the one thing that concerns you?
Turnovers.
Explosive plays on Falcons offense.
All right. Explosive. That's pretty succinct. All right. Until next time. And we're going to reconvene on Friday. For Deuce and Sean and everyone here at Fox 8, I'm Juan PK. Thanks for watching. Our next newscast is at 4:30 in the morning. Have a great night.
From Fox 8 Sports, this has been the Black and Gold Review Show, sponsored by your Southern Quality Ford dealers, home of the best-selling truck 41 years straight, and the 2018 Nissan Titan, backed by America's best limited truck warranty.